Listen, I don't know about you, but I started a business so I could do this. Travel, be with friends, be with family, create memories. I didn't do it to sit at the computer all day. I didn't do it so that I could just be in countless emails and Zoom meetings. I did it to create opportunities for myself and opportunities for others. So listen, if that's something that interests you, enjoying time with your friends, being out and about, definitely drop by Erica Williams Classy Climb Blog. Check out the YouTube channel. We've got over 2,000 videos of free information that's actually changed people's lives. People actually post their new jobs, their new careers, their new businesses all the time over at the channel. What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb Blog. Drop your seat and state in the chat. Listen, your girl been on the phone from 8 a.m. to now. We tired, but we got to do the work, boss. We got to do the work. All right. So listen, the South will rise again. How to live a Tri-City CEO life. You see the links up here, kind skip. If you're in the land grab class, you know this link. How do we get access to all these homeowners, these people? We get out in the streets, we talk to people, we drive for dollars, we get on Instagram, we get on Facebook Marketplace, we do a lot of different techniques. We will be doing a live training, I think this Saturday. I know y'all like, Erica, it's college football right now. Guess what? Money's still moving. So y'all want to move? Let's get with it. So Saturday training and the land grab course. I think we're going over tax deeds and some other stuff. Then also you have the Carrot website. If you want to use that link, and the lab grab course is there. If you don't, that's all good. Boy, people still texting me. Y'all don't even understand. It's been busy out here today. What's up, Angelo? Tampa Bay, Nashville. Okay, what's up? Listen, let's go ahead and get into it. This ain't gonna be long because your girl need to get some snacks. I'm hungry. Many of you you think, Erica, well, you're clowning people who move from the country and move back, and that's just not nice, Erica. And I just want to show this young lady who went over to Paris. I'm not clowning her. It's funny to me, but this how what happens is people think they can just go over to another country and have a new life automatically, and they ain't even, they ain't outside like Brandy. Brandy outside in Atlanta, y'all. Brandy know all the areas, okay? Brandy out there. She at the events. She mixing and mingling. So a lot of people think they're going to live in multiple cities. You may have seen this a lot on Instagram where people are like, I live in New York and Ohio. I live in New York and Indiana somewhere. And some of them do. Majority of them don't do it well. So let me just go ahead and show you this. This is one of the people I start you off with. This is no shade. This young lady, I'm very proud of her. She's very productive. She has a nice business. The ladies are mad with her because she's looking for a man right now, but leave her alone. I'm going to play these clips. And this is a classy version of me addressing this. Okay. Let's just go there first. Okay. Brandy says she stay outside. She in the outsides. I'm going to hit this from the personal then business aspect. Okay. Here we go.
South of France, here's how much my life costs. The rent is 1,800 euros a month, but you can also find studios as low as 800 euros. Transportation in Nice can cost me about 30 euros a month, but typically I just walk everywhere. My phone plan is 20 euros a month and internet is 50. I pay 169 euros for a gym membership. Groceries cost me between 140 and 280, and dining out can run between 140 and 230 a month. My international health insurance is $500 a year, and so in is 60 euros. I left the US for the south of France. Here's how much my
Okay, so why am I showing you this? Hold on.
1,800 euros a month. But you can also find studio.
I tried to find the comment where people are like, 1,800 in euros is like $1,900 apartment. It's like you're paying, basically it's the equivalent of living in the United States. This is a resort area. Okay, you're paying $169 for gym membership. There are multiple men in her comments about gym membership, $169. That's like $195 in America. They're doing all the conversions because what people don't realize is people on average, there's some people out here who may get a little $1,000. They may get a little $2,000 from a few things they play with and do. That's why when people tell me they absolutely broke, I'm like, baby, you have no motion. You're not hauling junk. You're not doing anything online, anything social. Even Diamond, David Williams tells you he can get you up to 2K on the stock, the stocks. But a lot of people, they want to go over there and be a tourist all day. So they're already mad with her in the comments. Like, oh, I mean, that's kind of expensive. And people in the comments are like, yeah, it's Nice, France. It's the most tourist nicest part. It's where we go vacation. Of course, it's not cheap. It's like moving from America to going to Miami in their country. Now, of course, you're like, are you mad about this, Erica? I'm not, because she's a business owner. But let's let her continue her story. Okay, let's go to here. Let me do this for you.
Two main goals. The second is finding my person. And Frenchmen aren't it. And let me give you a few reasons why. One, ambition matters to me. And men in the south of France, they really don't want to work, you know? They are not career focused at all. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that just does not work for me. And I can't be with someone where I'm more ambitious than they are. Two, lifestyle alignment is super important to me. And honestly, the salaries in France just don't match the life that I am currently living and will continue to live. I need someone that can afford to live how I live now, and I don't believe in building a man. And French men, they know romance. There's no question about that. But if you want someone consistent, don't date a French man. At this stage of my life, I value stability, effort, consistency, someone I can rely on over the cute romantic French charm. Frenchmen aren't it. I moved to France in January and now recently moved back to the US, and here's why. I have two main goals. The second is finding my person. And Frenchmen aren't it. And let me give you a few reasons why. One, ambition matters to me.
Y'all saw that, right? She was over there in January, was back by the summer. Okay. I just want y'all to understand, people are going places and not realize, like, the cost, the whole lifestyle. Let's finish some more.
About my housing situation. So I currently have my apartment still in France, and I originally was swapping with someone who was in New York, and the plan was I was supposed to be there for 2 months, be here in New York for 2 months. So it was gonna go all smoothly. I was gonna pay my French rent, have a place in New York. It was gonna be great, and then sort of go from there. But then that trip got cut short because she wanted to come back. And so 2 months turned into 2.5 weeks. And I wanted to be in New York for, you know, work and brand deals, especially this holiday season. And so I've just been like scrambling, trying to find places because New York is so expensive, and like even just like a 1 bedroom can be like $5,000-6,000 a month for something that isn't even that great. So I've just, you know, it's been quite the ride. And then I'm moving into a new place, and they text me at 7, or they email me at 7:30, and they're like, sorry, the place that you have booked is not available because of the previous tenant and the way that they left it. And then I was like, okay, so they gave me another option. I moved into the other option, and then I move in and there's like furniture missing, there's no Wi-Fi. Like, it's just very clear that they like recently renovated it, but like no one's actually been in there. So then they moved me to another apartment yesterday, and I walk in, okay, complete mess. There's like trash everywhere, and I just don't get how people don't have home training, because like even if you're paying the cleaning fee, like at least like put some stuff in the trash. Don't just like have, there's like a Band-Aid in the bedroom, and there's like bags of chips, and it's just like, who leaves a place like that?
Okay, yes. We don't care. I just love the comments are like, girl, we came here from the last video. You already left. Now, but look, I want to show you some positive for her. I'm not trying to clown her. I'm just using this as an example. Okay. Soft CEO newsletter. You know, she's soft living. Okay. Y'all know how that's an easy 200K a year racket by itself. Now, let me show you. This is her. She did. Okay. This is the event. Yeah. Here we go.
Teach us some of the things that I've learned in preparation for this segment that I had no idea and blew my mind.
And you think about being more sustainable, it doesn't have to be complicated. When it comes to reducing carbon emissions, it's all about going electric and using energy efficient options. So I have a couple tips for you if you're ready.
I am so ready.
Okay.
Teach us some of the things that I've learned in preparation for this segment that I had no idea and blew my mind.
And
now you may say, well, Erica, I saw it. She was on Drew Barrymore show, blah, blah. Baby, that is a big
You
deal.
read your food labels,
Okay.
but when's the last
The whole soft CEO, soft living. I'm living like I'm a rich person, but I'm not there yet. That I'm a Henry, whatever, right? You can go check out all this
Get
stuff.
ready with me to be on the Drew
There you
Barrymore
go.
show. I headed to New York. They had a car waiting for me. And then I went to my hotel. I did a little under eye mask and I got my makeup done as well as my hair because we had to be looking good. Then we headed to CBS Studios. I was with my friend Jazz. She helped me film, which I was so grateful for. Here's the cute green room, and then I studied my script a little bit more, and then we headed to the set. So this is not what I actually wore. This is what I was rehearsing in, so my suit could get steamed, but then we
Okay, so all this adds to what, y'all? We've talked about this. If you're an online persona, all this photos, taking these photos, she's very attractive, she's very fit, okay? Cute girl, dresses well, building a dream life in public, you know. The girlies got on her for wanting a man, you know. But she's in the rooms. She's in the rooms to meet the old men. She's in the rooms, okay? So let's get, why am I bringing her up and why is she an example? And again, now more than ever, if you're willing to take pictures, you're willing to speak at events, you're willing to dress. I mean, I'm gonna just go there. There's always been well-to-do African-American people, but because we act like we're just so shocked when we see this, her whole point was to create a loving life between France and the United States. If you want freedom, travel, and the soft life, it starts with building your personal brand. I'm telling y'all, this is why when people make fun of YouTube or make fun of me or other people being on YouTube, I'm like, this is one of the quickest ways people can get 200,000 to 300,000 a year. Just sharing information, sharing your life. And she made a whole series of videos. I left the USA. And it's like, you're back already. Stop it. Knock it off. You're back already. You came back. You left in January. You're back in August. So let's get into why I picked this conversation. And this is what I want to share this tab next. And this is kind of for lunch. You know, Dr. Dix is coming later, so I'm not going to do an extremely long show. Make sure y'all come back out here, Dr. Dix, tonight. Talk about automation. Let's go here.
I just flat burnt myself out. Wasn't the person I wanted to be. Wasn't the husband I wanted to be. Father I wanted to be.
If you could go back and give yourself a piece of advice, what would it be?
I actually talked to Chris Peterson about this. He referred a book to me called The Power of Full Engagement. Everyone says life is a marathon. It's a lie. Life is a consistent moment of full engaged sprints. When you're involved in something, man, give it everything you got to the maximum capacity. But it is also about fully engaged restoration. And you have to plan for that just as much as you plan for the sprinting. Everyone says life is a marathon. It's a lie. I just flat burnt myself out. Wasn't the person I wanted to be. Wasn't the husband I wanted to be. Father I wanted to be.
If you could go back and give yourself a piece of advice, what would it be?
I actually talked to Chris Peterson about this. He referred a book to me called The Power of Full Engagement. Everyone says life is a marathon. It's a lie. Life is a consistent moment of full engaged sprints. When you're involved in something, man, give it everything you got to the maximum capacity. But it is also about fully engaged restoration. And you have to plan for.
Okay, so this is why when y'all hear me say seasons, what season of life are you in? You know, are you 62 years old trying to have a baby? That's not going to work. You know, like what season of life are you in? It's important for us in our conversation and how we work with you. And it's the powerful engagement. I put the book link in the chat. I don't want y'all to like, what? Where the link at? It's in the chat. Okay. Now this is something I've talked about a lot. Tai Lopez. Several people have talked about this. It's not a foreign concept. Okay. Now I'm just going to use myself a little bit for example, because this is not going to be a long show. Okay. So Texas, but I just gave the example because I know a lot of people are doing LA, Dallas, New York, Dallas, New York, Houston. Mr. Pretension is from rich parts of Dallas. So again, I put Texas up there just so people can feel involved. Carolinas, and then I can't say at the moment. That's private, right? So long story short, 3 people, places, activities. Now, why did I say 3? Whenever you go to a city, somebody be like, this is my city. Now, what are some things that make a city your city, right? If I ask Darkman Jeff, where's the best food restaurants? Where's the best nightclub? Where's the best whatever, right? If I ask Nicole, what's the best in Chattanooga to eat at? Where can we go eat in Chattanooga? If I ask Nita, where we eat in New Orleans, right? Because our family's going a little bit. If I ask Notary World in North Hollywood, okay, where's the best place to eat? 9 times out of 10, people give you their top 3. They might not even go to them that often, but they're like, here's my 3, right? Here's the 3 places I like to go in this city. Here's the 3 activities I like to do in this town. And when I had my significant other move where I lived in Austin, what ended up happening is I had to show this person all the things that I do on, like, here's the town lake I walk. Here's the other lake. Here's the run club I'm a part of. Here's the church I go to. Here's the life I've built here in this place. And guess what? I'm willing to build a life anywhere else because I know how to build because I'm a military kid. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Some of y'all may say, what does that have to do with Tri-City CEO? If you, depending on what you do, if some of these people are just online social, some of these people go 4 times a year and do big 2-week trips, right? They'll go to Belize, they'll go to the islands, and then they'll spend the rest of the year chopping this stuff up into content. You know what I'm saying? You thinking they live in Belize the whole year. No, they chopping up content for 4 months, right? They've been back in LA the whole time, right? This is very common and it's not unusual. And this is how people get a lot of sponsorships. This is how people create a lot of content in advance, reuse a lot of content. Okay, I know a guy who snorkels. He's a snorkel instructor. You didn't know he was a snorkel instructor. You thought he was just a wealthy dude snorkeling off of Mexico. No, he's a snorkel instructor. And so all his clips are just these beautiful clips of him snorkeling, but not knowing that's actually part of his day job, right? So some of it is deciding this can be a job or it can be an actual life for you, right? So here's the triangle of what you have to do in some of these places, right? Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Donald. Exactly. If someone asks you what's the best place to eat and you give them a chain restaurant, it may not be your city, right? When I start telling people, when I would be like, hey, go to this taco place. Oh, if all else fail, go to Torchy's. They'd be like, Torchy's a franchise now. I'm like, I know. Or if they ask me, can I go to this place? I'm like, yeah, go to that place. It's great. You should have some things about that city that are unique. Like I shouldn't Google and your answers are the same as Google, right? So virtual offices, I'm going to tell you the kind of the rundown, right? And this is important. Virtual office. Let's say for the sake of argument, where's somebody at in here? Let me see. Now, Brandy know the people, the home of people doing this is where Brandy at in Atlanta. Let's just say we in Atlanta. We're going to get us a virtual office in Atlanta. We're going to get us a virtual office in Texas. Let's just say Austin. And both those places I'm going to receive mail. Why? Because I'm going to be on different registry list. Again, 411, we taught a lot of that stuff on the classes I've taught. I'm going to join the Chamber of Commerce. Now, once I get those virtual offices where mail can go, it's like $50 a month, some of them $30 a month, some of them 19. Let's say you go out in the middle of nowhere. Let's say you go to Macon, Brandy, right? They might do virtual mail for $19 a month over there. Okay. Right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a chamber. I'm going to join the Chamber of Commerce in both cities. I'm going to go ahead and pay my little $50 in both cities. I want to be in the knowing. I want people to be like, oh my God, are you going to be there next Thursday? Oh girl, no, I'll be, the best way I can relate this to y'all is you ever hear people say, I'm doing the summer in Europe. I'm doing the summer in Rhode Island. I'm doing the summer, down south with my family, right? People that live in Chicago. Oh, I'm doing the winter in Florida. How do you go to these two cities and have a full life in both cities? How do you not just be considered a snowbird and act like you don't know anything every year? Because that's annoying, right? How is this possible? You set up a life in both cities, right? So if I go get the Chamber of Commerce, I get an LLC in both states. Oh, Erica, that's a lot to keep up with. No, it's not. It's not. I'm just going to run the 5 banks with one LLC and run the 5 other banks in the next state with the other LLC. I'm going to sign up for meetup events. I'm going to go to real estate events. That's my particular genre. So I'm going to go to real estate events. What's my middleman to millions business? It's construction, but it can also be something as simple as junk removal, a moving business. Any of these businesses that you can pay for leads and you can pay for traction is what you can do. And there's a long list of boring businesses you can have, right? Google business. I'm going to use my virtual address, put my Google business up there, put pictures of my company up there. Churches, social events, tennis, golf, run club. Why am I saying tennis? Tennis is cheap. It's affordable. We can run out an academy right now and get a $15, $20 racket in a set of I can get like 100 balls for $50, right? And I can always be available to play tennis, or for some people who are going to say it, pickleball with people. Run club, it's free. I can walk with other ladies. I can come out every Saturday. Hey, how you doing? Right? Sporting events, right? I can go to sporting events. Scheduled dinners and conferences. If I know I'm going to be in town a certain month or 2 months, then I fill up the calendar. I have a friend who does this right now. They live in LA for a job. They needed that job very badly, but they love New York. And so in the summer, they try to get the company, I need to take my 2-3 weeks off this time frame. And they do a combination of paid time off. And then they'll go rent a space for a month in New York, or hang out with friends for a month in New York in the summer and do all the summery things in New York. Fill up her whole schedule as much as possible in New York. And this is how I recommend. A lot of y'all say, "Oh, I would love to catch up with my friends. They're also busy with with their kids." But this is on both of you as adults. You should be reaching out. All right? You should be reaching out to your friends and them in advance. "Hey, girl, let's get something on the calendar next month. You know, both our schedules are so crazy. Let's do a dinner this day. Let's do this day," right? And I do that now. I have to do that now because a lot of friends have kids and they act like, "Oh, my kids, they asked me 2 questions at homework. I can't take it." You be like, "Girl, get yourself together." Right? So, again, a lot of people are unhappy in the city they're currently in. They're complaining there's nothing to do. "Oh, I don't want to be here. Oh, I took a job here. I don't want to be here." There's so many New Yorkers that come down south. "I'm really from New York." We know, and we don't care. When you come to Florida, when you come to Atlanta, when you come to these cities, build you a life there. Go to the restaurants, go to the meetups, go to the events. Again, I tell y'all this the same way. If you're going to move to a new city for 2 years, you're going to build a life in that city. You should be kind of tired at the first 2 years because you're learning either a new job, you're meeting new people, and you're just following up. When I first came to Austin, 5 days a week, I had people I would go eat lunch with, eat dinner with. I was always interacting with people. They're like, "Ours, it's so scary to move to a new city alone." I'm like, "No." I went to meetup groups. I went to churches. I went to church singles groups. Hey, yeah, I was finding the people. So what I learned over this time period is many people have not ever left their hometown. As a military kid, I've moved multiple times, lived in multiple cities. As an adult, after the years of being a military kid, I lived in multiple cities. And so when I go, I literally just get into autopilot. Where's the churches? Where's the events? Where's this? How many days a week can I stand it and then need to lay down? This is why it's so important when people talk about they're going to buy a retirement home somewhere and they don't even go to that place. If you go on YouTube right now and type up "my retirement mistake," oh, we bought a retirement home and we regret it. 9 times out of 10, they bought somewhere in an HOA. They came, they went out and they want it to be safe. They don't want nobody breaking their house while they're not there. They're basically acting like a snowbird. Then they get there in retirement and they don't know anybody. They don't know churches. They don't know food restaurants. This is a fantasy. Just like this girl I just showed you at the beginning. Again, right? I'm gonna share. Look at her post. She's like, "Oh, she's getting her hair done by the black lady. She's living in South of France. She's eating the food. It's so great." What she probably realized when she got there, this is very much a tourist spot. The men you meet here are very much either working in tourism or chilling, right? And this isn't Paris. Paris is people are working. Okay. This is kind of a relaxation spot. So either the men is looking for the sugar mamas or you're looking for an older man. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not even giving you the fake. Okay. And so this is why I want people to understand, like, there's this promotion that you're just going to hop up and live in another country. And really, like, the difference in night and day is if you really actually live there, you might not like that city. You really actually live there, you might be like, "This place sucks." And people aren't really ready to hear that part of the conversation. They're just not at all ready. And that's okay. We just have to talk about it. But how do you do that? The only way, when people say they want to move to some city, I kind of laugh because I'm like, do you have any traction there? Any city you move to and you're not integral to the city. Now, what do I mean integral to the city? I mean, nothing important goes through you. Like, like I'm just being honest. Like some people, the average person, and this is why I'm back on Ben one over here. The average person is going to come to a town. All right. Right now, all the rage is Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, right? Let me see if I can pull up this South Carolina lady real quick. Let me see if I can pull her up. She's been driving people crazy. Where her name at? Where her name is? Hold on a second, y'all. This might be her. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Trying to find. I know Myrtle Beach is so gross, but you know they love it. They love it. Ohioans love Myrtle Beach. I don't know why. They love dirtiness. They love the dirtiness. Let me see here if I can put it up. Hold on, I'm gonna tell y'all. She do a great. She's one of the best I've seen do it. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna pull her up. She's one of the best I've seen do it. Okay, here we go. Here she is. All right, if you see her, this is Myrtle Beach Megan. Okay, she's second generation realtor. Okay, that means her mom was a realtor. Y'all know what time it is with Megan. Okay, now you come down here again. This is the comments are the best part. Talks about, a lot of people growing up in Myrtle Beach with my dad's house, and Myrtle's Inlet gave me a deep appreciation. Now that I live in Myrtle Beach, again, she was living somewhere else. She's like, I need a change. She then came down here back down to Myrtle Beach. Now, again, this is how you should market. If you see a lot of her stuff, she's doing this right here. This is the latest Wall Street Journal Realtor.com report. Top 10 luxury markets right now. This is the comedy. Detroit, Michigan, St. Louis, Missouri, Charlottesville, VA, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Salt Lake City, Utah, Minneapolis, San Diego, and Hilton Head, South Carolina. Let me see the other two. Portland, Maine, and Santa Maria, California. Now, I'm going to tell y'all right this. And she's telling the truth. She lived in Detroit Metro off of 14 Mile in Birmingham, just minutes from Rochester Hills, Bloomingfield Hills, Grosse Pointe, Franklin. These are very wealthy places in the Detroit region. So let me not knock Detroit for that second. She does seem like a Barbie doll name. The reason I bring this up is every city has a nice place, right? Somebody said I haven't been in Myrtle Beach since high school. Exactly. I don't know. I have to look in the notes, what we put in the notes, but it'll probably be 1:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday. Life beyond the ring. And so what I want y'all to understand is, as a realtor, you're basically have all these people looking online for places to move to or do part-time living in. And that's going to be very much an American middle class, upper middle class thing. Like if somebody's poor and they live in a trailer and they're just scraping by and they just need to send their kid to school and get free lunch and need EBT, like this ain't for them. But you're going to see this whole generation of younger people move somewhere, and then their parents come and get an apartment near them, or their parents want to live close because the grandkids or the children of those people will go back to where their parents' hometown is or close to it. Or they're looking for places. Patrick Bet-David did a really great job of this. He was talking about how when he left Dallas, which he was really in Frisco, when he left Frisco, Texas, he was like, where's somewhere I can convince my father to move to get out of California? He don't want to come to Texas. Texas too hot. Florida. This is where we can have a backyard. He can live off in the side part of this house and have a whole life, all that stuff. So these are things that are factoring into people as they're doing these multiple city living, part-time working, is how close can they be to this? Because as y'all can see, more and more as people are getting older, there aren't this fake ideal that you're going to retire. The music's not on there. That they're going to retire and travel all over the world at 65 full arthritis. No, they're not. They ain't doing it. They're going to try to spend as much time as they can at the beach and the other part-time with their grandkids, wherever their grandkids are, wherever their kids have moved and took their grandkids. That's what they're going to do. And people can tell you stories of how they're going to travel the world and be living in overseas. And that's cool. You can tell me all that stuff. I'm not listening because the data doesn't support it. They don't have enough money for that. Okay. There you go. Erica, check out these restaurants when you come to New Orleans. There you go. That's how you do it. Full of arthritis. I said it, daggone it. They're going to be enjoying their little gardens and all that stuff. My parents used to go to Hilton Head in Savannah. There you go. Right? They're going to try their best to make the best life they can. But let me get back to the chart. When you heard the girl say, oh, to be in New York, the places I would want to rent are $5,000 a month, she's not living in no rinky-dink places. She's not living in the Bronx. She's not living in a cubby hole in Brooklyn. She's living in a nice part of New York as a what? Soft life CEO, okay? She's already letting you know that's what time it is. So when you know this is what you're doing, you have to understand, if you're, and this is how we can be nice about this, if you're trying to live somewhere where it's very expensive, right? You may only do like, 2-3 weeks there. You may only do hey, in the summer we do a month in Rhode Island. But the rest of the year you live in the much cheaper place, right? Much cheaper place. You have to understand, like, when people try to sell you that this ideal, as nice as I can say it, that they're living half the time in New York, they're not. They're picking the most like cool times to be there, and that's it. Said I'm 5 minutes from there. Okay, cool. And so setting up your life where you make majority of your money. Where's majority of your money? So let's say Brandy, I'm just using Brandy as an example. Let's say Brandy has an office in Atlanta. Brandy decides all of a sudden, you know what? I also want an office in Nashville, Tennessee. Lots of movement there, lots of traction. Let's set up a temporary office. Let's just say Brandy's sugar daddy man's up there. I don't know. Just give an example. And she wants to spend half her time in Atlanta, another half in Nashville. Well, Brandy's like, I'm not going to be in Nashville when it's real cold. I'll just be in Atlanta. But she may do a lot of the summer in Nashville. She may do a lot of events in Nashville. She may pick a few weekends. And so all she has to do is strategically pick the times that make sense, right? If you got little kids, we already know August to May, you're going to be wherever the main majority of your time is. The summer is when you can get creative on this Tri-City CEO living. But the key is to have some motion in each one of these cities. So let's say, and I'll talk about this from the real estate perspective, because if you're building something in parts of Texas, there's some parts of Texas that have slowed down the market, but Carolinas is jumping. Nashville, Tennessee is jumping. Parts of other cities are jumping, right? If you want to have an overseas spot, I tell y'all this when I took the tour groups over to Panama and I took the tour groups overseas, I said, don't invest here unless you can guarantee yourself you're going to come here once a year. And it isn't out of your way, right? Once a year, you're visiting this place and you're invested there, right? How many times a year can I go to Panama? How many times can I take all my family with me to Panama, right? These are the reason people are picking these cities. Like, how many times can they visit the Carolinas? I see old people driving from New York all the time, going down to South Carolina, going to the beaches. It's still doable for them. They still can take a flight. Again, your body's wear and tear as you get older. You have to pick places that make sense. So it may be 2 adjacent cities, like a Nashville and Atlanta. They're 2 hours apart from each other. It wouldn't be crazy, right? When I met people from Birmingham, they always said they were pulling girlfriends from Atlanta, and I thought that was comical. But they were just driving an hour and 30 minutes. It was worth it to them to be in another city that makes money. So some of you may be in Ohio, right? You need to figure out what's the city that's making money. What's the city that's making money? How can I get closer to that city? How can I do an event a month in that city? Part of what I had to do is I had been in Texas for over 10 plus years. So when I came here, I was like, oh, I'll just jump back in it. It took a minute of me going to events, talking to people, exchanging numbers, but it took a sprint of full engagement. That's why I'm sharing that book of like me sprinting to make sure I meet enough people. A lot of people think I'm going to do everything online. I'm going to do stocks online. I'm going to do prime example. This is like an auction website. This is where we talk about land grab online. I'm going to do a lot of winter sales and tax deeds, and I'm going to do all this, but you'll still have to know plumbers. You'll still have to know builders. You'll still have to know people in construction so that you can get what you need done. Now, you do need the balance of personal. There's no point in you being somewhere making a lot of money. I hear it all the time. Guys will be at some place and they're working 60, 70 hours a week because the job sent them there, and then they're miserable. They're sitting in their hotel room, drinking beer, miserable. You want to find activity and scheduled sport events to attend to. You will find like-minded people out there, right? This isn't this crazy concept. It's very possible for a lot of people to do it, and a lot more will do it. This is why these people are bragging about how they work 6 months and then they go live 6 months in Colombia. They working for 6 months, then in America in some job they hate, and then they go live 6 months in Thailand and it's the best time of their life. That is a type of lifestyle living, but that's usually for people who don't have real skills. That means they have to come home and be a waiter or waitress. They have to come home and work at Amazon warehouse. They have to come home and do something that is very doesn't matter. You want to get to a point where there is opportunity for you in both those cities so you can stay longer, or you're not going into this manic mode of you come home and work 90 hours a week and then you get to live 6 months on an island in Thailand. You'll never get true balance like that. Did y'all have any questions about the Tri-City CEO living? How it makes sense, how it doesn't? Please let me know. Please let me know. Anybody have any questions? Drop them in the comments. You're gonna start seeing a lot of white. I just want to make sure y'all saw that. Sorry, I had a message coming on my phone. I know it takes 30 seconds for y'all to answer questions, but definitely bring your questions in because a lot of people overcomplicate this, and this is one of the easiest things to do. Because right now that's what I'm actively doing. I'm building out the legs to this chair. Also, you know, it wouldn't be a good day without your boy commenting. What's his name? Let's see and pull him up. Let me see. He been cutting up a little bit more lately. Y'all favorite cut up artist is Xavier. I think he been cutting up on the this has been comical. I think this one right here. I think this one.
This, but he didn't fuck with this.
But wait, that's
psycho.
It is bizarre the way that black men react to seeing a black man who does not have a hard lineup. But it's the exact same as women who wear those horrible wigs. It's a class indicator. Women have discovered this and they call it hard wig, soft life, which alludes to the fact that the women with these bad wigs do tend to end up partnered with men who have a lot of money. Why? Because those men with money can recognize this bad wig as an indicator that this woman probably comes from a certain environment. And of course, all black women in wealthy spaces don't have bad wigs. In fact, I would say most have impeccable hair. Similarly, with the hairline thing, it's not always as bad as Barack Obama's was. It's not looking unkempt, as they call it. But even, for example, for me, my head is shaved. I barely have hair. And it's nothing but black men being like, well, I can't believe you don't have a lineup. Why would I have a lineup when I barely have hair? This obsession over the hairline, that is the difference. And it goes to show how little exposure the average black person has to black people with money. Because that level of shock of like, I genuinely cannot believe that you don't have your hair crispy lined up. That genuine sense of disbelief is because they have never seen it before. It reminds me of when I made a video talking about black old money, and there were black people saying they could not believe that there were black people who have been wealthy for generations. Literally, for a lot of black people, wealthy black people don't exist at all. And people like to have a lot of dishonest conversations about why this is, but it's really just cultural differences. And hairlines, hair is one of the clearest places that you can see the cultural difference.
He's been on one. I just want to play this one too.
This looks elegant. This looks vulgar. This looks elegant. This looks vulgar.
Why are one of these classy and the other is vulgar? Classiness for women is really closely related to looking natural, looking like you just kind of wake up perfect. So not only are you going to see this in something like nails, but you're also going to see this in makeup. Also, if you are getting work done and it looks like you've gotten work done, that's also going to be a little bit vulgar, as she says. A BBL, also going to be a little bit vulgar because it looks like you're just trying too hard, and that kind of defeats the purpose of elegance. A lot of wealthy women also show their wealth through jewelry, and so if your nails are doing a lot, it's going to take attention away from your jewelry. You know, maybe you're wearing a stack or a big old ring or something like that. Now, as a man, I do think if you have those itty bitty short nails, I think that does look a little bit boyish. So I'm not going to say just because the nail is a little bit long that makes it vulgar. But if the nails are a little bit long, they're not unnatural lengths, unnatural shapes. They don't have, 50 holidays across them, even though I guess I do like that. I think it's fun, around Christmas or something to do a little Christmas spirit. But generally speaking, as long as they are not over the top distractions, I think you can get away with that, generally speaking. A lot of women get upset about this, but you can tell the type of woman you're dealing with by looking at those nails.
Okay, so listen, I just wanted to step on that lightly. This is also what prevents people from being able to travel overseas and blend in with the crowd. What do they talk about when they talk about Americans? We always wear shorts. We always wear blue jeans. We're always like, we don't have pants. Like, again, if you meet a black man, he don't have a pair of slacks. It's like, where do you go? Where are you going? Right. And so when I would wear my nails natural, or I do just a little bit of red lip, people would be like, oh, you don't do makeup? I'm like, no, I don't. Not that I just think I'm so hot, but it's just the fact of like, it's too much. Sometimes people are doing too much. Okay. Take it down a notch. A little eye makeup does help for sure. But you shouldn't be JD Vance with eyeliner on and people are like, God, dog, what's going on? This all plays in that Tri-City CEO. Do you know how many people dress somewhere and they're covered head to toe in Chicago? They're covered head to toe in Florida material. They're covered head to toe in the Vikings jerseys when they go somewhere. I don't need to know where you're from, right? Unless you're actively trying to get me to talk to you. As you see with this hat on, I'm wearing an ATX hat. Why am I wearing it where I'm not in Austin? So people be like, oh, what does that stand for? That's the only reason. It's a conversation starter. That's it. That's what it's for. It's for conversations. And so the point of Tri-City CVO is like, as people complain that certain areas don't have any money, or as you saw a lot of Florida people complaining about Florida businesses were slow this season because of tourism and the economy. Anybody who has a grandma who's from New Jersey, New York, and has a house in Florida, she's okay. She probably has some stocks. She has some retirement accounts. She has a collection of assets. The only way you're going to live this type of lifestyle is if you have income that can come in where you don't have to go, oh my God, I have to run back from France and do all my projects in New York to make sure we keep the company going. That's all. That's the whole point of this show. Now, again, if you notice, he quit his dream job and he traveled Europe and stuff for 4 months. Good for him. That's a choice. Like, if you have skills, you can hop back into the job market. Okay. So I'm gonna get out of here. I'm not gonna harass y'all. But y'all know what time it is. Travels abroad. The spring is going to get very interesting because they're trying to put the digital ID on everything. And again, same thing why I don't put any color in the braids. Keep it very plain, very classy. Keep it simple. But you guys, this is your girl Erica, Classy Glam Blog. Join us at 8 o'clock with Dr. Dix talking about automation. That was my take on today. If you hear me talking about the people, I don't begrudge any of these people wanting to live overseas, wanting to do the overseas life. I just know, as a person who's actually traveled and lived overseas, that it's not all that glitters is gold, right? You'll hear the same complaints on every video. My internet wasn't working. My phone, the lights went out. And you're like, yeah, that's what that area does. I don't know where you're tripping. So anyways, you guys, this is your girl Erica, Classy Climb Blog. Live training this Saturday for both groups. Middleman to Millions, I think, is at 3 o'clock. Training for Land Grab course is at 1 o'clock. I think 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. And I hope you guys enjoy the commentary, and I hope you enjoy the winter arc. It's winter time. Get serious. 8 weeks till January. Enjoy yourselves. You've probably been seeing these commercials for Middleman to Millions course. What is Middleman to Millions? We're teaching so many people how to have service businesses. The upcoming year, one of the fastest growing businesses you will see are service businesses and digital businesses. Why is that? Because so many things need repairs, need maintenance. And guess what? We have a shortage of men and also women who can do things. Listen, I'm not the best with a hammer, but I know I can gather a crew of people to get things done. And that's what I've done with 2 of my service businesses. And that's what I'll be teaching if you check us out in the Middleman to Millions course. And look forward to us on the road with Digital Liberty Tour 2024. It's Erica Williams.